Good evening, I'm Madison Carmouche. Tonight we bring you a developing story out of Wayne County where Kentucky State Police report one person is in critical condition after shots were fired. Tracy Kidd was flown to UK Albert B. Chandler Hospital after being shot in a home on Frisbee Street in Wayne County. The homeowner reports Kidd scared them, leading them to shoot him. They called 911, and when Wayne County EMS arrived, they found 40 grams of methamphetamine on Kidd's person. For updates and more information, head to this story on WYMT.com. Friends and family gathered in Harlan to celebrate the life of radio icon James Little Jim Morgan. WYMT's RJ Johnson has more on the life he lived and the legacy he leaves behind.
Throughout his life, Little Jim Morgan impacted several people. Chris Wheeler served as the youth pastor at Harlan Christian Church, where Morgan was active and served in several roles during his life.
Got to know Jim through our connection here at the church, and his love and his character being both larger than life was what really drew me towards him and his friendship.
He says Morgan was always there for people, whether it be through the 1977 floods, which him and his father won a Peabody Broadcasting Award for, or through his church and his love for cars.
You know, the thing that I admire most about him was his willingness to help anyone out, no matter what their need was, whether it be at the radio station or here at the church. You know, he loved to love on people.
Especially through laughter.
He called it Sinner's I like to joke around too, and his contagious laugh and his big personality and his voice is just unmatched.
Wheeler says the support from the community just shows the impact that he had on it.
I think during times like this, we reach out to friends and family for support, and the outpouring that I have personally seen, both on social media and just conversations, Jim was definitely loved, and he was thought about and cared for. And just, again, the outpouring from the community is just second to none of the love that they had for him and his family.
Saying he will carry the memories forever.
You know, God gives us a beautiful thing called memories, and through that we never forget. And things are sad at times, and we miss Jim, but we also rejoice knowing where he's at.
In Harlan, RJ Johnson, WYMT Mountain News.
Morgan is survived by his wife, 3 kids, and 5 grandchildren. He was 74 years old.
It was definitely a mild day across the mountains after a very chilly start. Let's check out that almanac. And you can see we woke up this morning in London with a temperature around 28, climbed to a high of 61. That high right on average, but we were about 10 degrees below average this morning. Similar situation in Jackson, although thermometer not quite as high, only getting up to 57 today. No precipitation. We've got a dry night on tap. Temperatures heading down into the 30s for most of the region. Although some of the ridge tops may go into the 40s, we'll call it 30 for your overnight low in Jackson and Hazard, 32 down in Whitesburg, 28 Prestonsburg, Pikeville, and Salyersville. Overall, a pretty nice and cool evening. If you got any of those plants that you've already planted, go ahead and make sure to get those covered. Because we will see at least a little bit of a frost tonight, if not an outright freeze in some spots. We're back to the 70s for highs tomorrow under mostly sunny skies, and there is an enhanced risk of some wildfires because of the dry and windy conditions. We'll talk more about that and see how long those conditions will stick around coming up here in a few minutes, Madison.
All right, Shane, thank you. People across the world and in Lexington took 1 hour out of their weekend to help our planet. The world's first Earth Hour was held back in 2007 in Sydney, Australia, where 2.2 million Australians turned off their lights for 1 hour. 16 years later, the event has turned into a day to encourage folks to spend 60 minutes outside, unplugged, and doing something good for the planet.
Like spending time outdoors and in contact with nature, you know, the birds, animals, it really kind of puts things in perspective of how special just the outdoors and nature is.
Lexington has participated in Earth Hour since 2014, with this year's event coming at the end of Water Week, a community-wide effort to appreciate and explore Lexington's creeks. Guests were able to pick their own containers and choose from an array of various succulents and cacti in this one-of-a-kind event from a Western Kentucky University alumna. Jill Thornell took the pandemic as a time to start a new business venture, and she is now the owner of Classy Cactus. The home base of her business is in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, but she has expanded to pop-up shops.
But this year, I had the opportunity. I have some friends here in Bowling Green and just got to talking, and they're like, you should come and set up here in Bowling Green, and it's only an hour and a half. So that's really what started the journey of doing these pop-ups. From Bowling Green, because we were here last month and it was so successful. This one is so successful. We're traveling to Chattanooga, Tennessee, Evansville, Indiana.
Thornell says cacti and succulents thrive on conflict and encourages anyone that wants to come get their hands dirty. Glasgow, Kentucky is getting a new addition to help mothers who may be unable to care for their newborn. The Glasgow Fire Department unveiled plans to install a new Safe Haven baby box. If a mother is unable to provide a safe and nurturing home for their child, they can drop them off in one of the boxes. They are 24/7 and a firefighter will immediately be able to tend to the infant.
Most fire stations are safe haven places where you can bring a child anyhow. And we've had it ever since I've been here, but it's hard to make that decision as it is. Then to actually confront somebody, which whether they judge or not, you're still feeling bad.
The department says the best thing about baby boxes is they give people the option to make the tough decision free of judgment. The new one in Glasgow should be up and running by this summer. People in the Jellicoe community were treated to free medical assistance courtesy of the remote area medical clinic. Earlier this month, the Jellicoe community saw their hospital and emergency room close, thus limiting accessibility to medical assistance. Remote Area Medical hosted their annual clinic at Jellicoe High School to offer free dental, vision, and medical services. Brad Hutchins says these clinics serve as a way to fill gaps in the community that community members need.
This occurs at a time, when it just creates additional need. So we're just happy that we're able to be here, to be able to fill those gaps within the communal health care that specifically this community and neighboring communities are facing.
Hutchins says being the resource that is available to the community is the most important thing as they strive to make health care more accessible. After taking care of her mother with breast cancer and undergoing a double mastectomy herself, a Central Kentucky woman is working to help people in recovery. Rebecca Baker spent more than a year as her mom's primary caretaker after she was diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer. And that is what inspired her to create Betty's Brave and Beautiful Hearts to support women recovering from mastectomies.
I found all of these items that helped her be more comfortable, have a little bit more dignity while she was at home. And these were things that insurance doesn't cover and people may not even know about.
If you'd like to support Betty's Brave and Beautiful Hearts, you can find a link to donate in this story on our website, WYMT.com. March is Colon Cancer Awareness Month, and officials are educating folks on the importance of early detection. Baptist Health Lexington brought doctors to a health fair helping people learn about the disease. And even though people are typically advised to get screened for colon cancer at 45 years old, it can impact people of all ages.
I went on and got it done, and because my mom, that was my initial, if she could do it, I could do it. And I was one of those ones that just kept putting it off, and then I was like, they're pressing me.
Here's a not so fun fact. Colon cancer is more common here in Kentucky than any other state in the nation, which is why Baptist Health says prevention and treatment are incredibly important. Coming up at 11, a terrorist attack in Russia is only making tensions between Russia and Ukraine worse.